Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we are going to be doing what I'm hoping is the first in 4 parts for my Champion Automatic 501 washer, aka the Parnell spin washer. I'm hoping to get this machine restored, and for this first part, I'm going to be disassembling the machine and all of the parts that it has. And to start off, we are going to turn the machine around and disconnect the back panel, which there are a lot of screws to undo for that. So we'll do that first. So at the back of the machine, you can see that there are all these screws for the back panel that we need to get off. And those only require a standard Phillips screwdriver. We're going to go ahead snake the water valves through, and we're inside. Now on both sides of the machine, we've got 2 Phillips screws up top, 2 on the bottom. On the other side, 2 up top, 2 at the bottom. So what I have to do is get those removed. Hopefully none of them are rounded out either, because some of the screws at the bottom are pretty dicey. So yeah, we'll get those undone now. At the front and slide it forward. Oh wait, lift the top just a tiny bit. And then slide it forward. It's coming out. Okay, this to the side. Let's get these wires disconnected and we'll be able to take the top off. Here we go! The next thing that we have to do is go to the bottom of the machine, and there is the clutch helix and brake assembly that have to be removed. And according to the manual, this tub will be able to pop out with the gearbox on it, and then it can be removed. So I think that is the next part of the plan here, so we'll see how that goes. I have to lay the machine on its side. So this is underneath the machine, and I've carefully laid the machine on its side so that no oil leaks out of it or anything rips. Right here you can see the clutch helix and the brake assembly. This is the main pulley, and this is like I believe it's called the jockey pulley. I think the jockey pulley unit, that's what they called it in the manual. So the manual says that you have to start off by getting this belt off and then removing the jockey pulley assembly. So I'm gonna try and do that now. I didn't realize that this was open for it to pop through. But that's actually pretty clever because now it makes it pretty easy to get the whole assembly off. So the next thing to do is to remove the main mechanism pulley, which is this. We have to undo it with this nut. You can see the bearing cup, which is being held on by these 4 nuts. And if you look inside, you can also see the bearing itself, which is a ball bearing. Now, according to the instruction manual, you don't actually need to get that undone to pull off the, I believe it's called the brake cone unit, which is this big metal thing here. You just have to get these 4 nuts undone, which I believe these are 7/16s. Just make sure. Yeah. 7/16 nut driver. And then this whole thing will slide down the shaft and it can come off. Oh, that's the woodruff. This is the woodruff key. I think that's what it's called. This looks like it's just gonna pop out now. Look at that. So the manual says slide the lower and upper helix down the drive shaft and remove, take out woodruff key. Which means, I believe that there's 3 washers here. Let me just get those removed first. And I think this can just come off. I think. Is it just stuck? Well, I'm not sure what happened there. I think it might have been a little stuck or something, but there, it's off. I'm going to need a 3/16 Allen key to get those undone. Oh, this one's already loose. So thinking about this now, I think what I'm going to have to do is pull the tub out while it's laying down, because if I try to pull it out while it's standing, I'm going to have to keep pulling it out until I can get the shaft out, which is really long, and I don't think I can lift it that high. So I think they meant for me to take the tub out while it was on its side. This is probably going to be very tricky, but I'll give it a try anyway, so we'll see what happens. And now that we got the inner tub out, you can finally see the inside of the outer tub as well. You can see some of the oil that spilled out of it when it was on the way home. And then there's the seal, which is really huge. And factoring out the seal and also the oil, this tub is actually in really good condition. I think it would be quite easy to clean up once the oil is out of the way. I think I'm going to start off by getting this pump removed, but in order to do that, I have to get it disconnected from this, I'm going to call it the pressure switch container, because I don't really know what it's for yet, but there's a little hose that connects it to the pump that I have to get out. There is a screw here that we have to get undone, but you have to do it through that gap. So I'm actually going to have to tilt the machine a little bit. Now we'll get these two side screws removed. So we're back underneath the machine because you see how we have this Phillips screw here? There's also one in there. If you look underneath the machine, there's also these two nuts that are keeping the bolt secure. So here goes everything we just pulled out. This is the shield for the pump, which isn't too bad looking. Then you have the pump itself, has some oil on it. This is what clamps it to the connector there. It does spin freely, which is a good sign. It's not rough or anything. Then I have this here, which is what connects it to the pressure container, and then the clamp that goes with it. And then I have some screws here for the whole assembly. Next, I'm going to remove this container, which is being held to the outer tub by one of those clamps again. Oh yeah, there we go. So before I get the motor undone, there's this capacitor, and that is being held on by these two little guys, which are flathead screws. Same thing as the pump though. If you look underneath the machine, it also has these nuts down here, so I'll have to work on it from both sides. And there it goes. This motor is basically the same story. There's 3 nuts on both sides. One there, one there, one there. Both sides are size 10. And there goes the motor assembly. And you can see why they put this gap in the tub, because it's actually quite tight to get the motor out of this gap. So yeah, by design that's pretty good. Allows you to get this off without having to take out the outer tub. So my work underneath the machine is done, and if you look in here now you can see that everything has finally been removed. The next step is just to get this outer tub out by removing these bolts at the base of the machine. I think there's a bolt for each leg. I'll get the base cleaned up first before I do that though. Looks like the back is also being held in by a 7/16 nut. So once again, I'm doing this from both sides. Well, aside from the tub seal, which is in here, I think that's about it. I think I've disassembled as much as I can for now. There are a few small things, like I still haven't taken out the legs for the base, and of course the control panel is still in one piece. And so is the gearbox, which is still on the tub. So there are a few small things that are still, in pieces. But for the most part, this machine has been completely disassembled, and is ready for cleaning.